everyone, welcome to the Sky Star Bell. So today, I wanted to make a video kind of addressing why Adrien is now in love with Marinette. Now, he's like, a lot of people, I got some comments saying that, why is Adrien in love with Marinette? There was zero build up to this. It just kind of happened out of nowhere, and I do not agree with that. So the comment I did reply to is on my channel, so that's kind of why I decided to make this video, because I see that there's a lot of people that are kind of like misunderstood of why Adrien is now in love with Marinette. Like, it just happened out of nowhere. Like, just one episode, he just magically realized his love for Marinette, and that is not what happened. Like, it's been kind of building up for a while now, and I just thought, why not address it now? You know, it's the perfect time. So let's get into it. The episodes I could really see this development more happening is more of in Risk and in Multiplication is where the development was happening the most, because in the other episodes it was happening like, you need to see, if you haven't seen like these people channels, you need to see them. Miraculously Lazy, Hayes Clark, amazing. So you gotta see their channels to kind of get more of an idea, but this been happening for a long time. Adrien's signs of having a crush on Marinette, it's been physical contact, and with Adrien, it doesn't have to do more with words. It has to do more of his actions in order to see things and see how they're going. So Adrien, season 1, it was more like he saw Marinette as a fan. Season 2 is when he actually started seeing her as a genuine friend, like. And then season 3 is when he actually realized that he feels something, but he doesn't really know what it's there. And also he was trying to like, he was getting rejected towards Ladybug, so he was trying to replace Ladybug or trying to keep his mind off her with Kagami. And I've talked about this in another video, but the reason he didn't date like Marinette first was because, you know, Kagami, because Marinette is more important. So that also has to go along with everything. So that has to do with, those are the episodes that the transition most likely occurred. But I do see how, since it just happened really suddenly, it seems like it's quick, but it's not. I feel like the reason it seemed quick was because they just like made him realize in one episode. It should have been multiple episodes that they were making him realize and finding little clues that he likes Marinette. And maybe one episode he says, hey, maybe I like Marinette. And then the next episode he takes Marinette out to see if he likes her. And then at the end of the episode, like, he confesses his love. I feel like it should have been multiple episodes, but instead they just put it in one episode, which I feel like why it didn't seem like as, it seemed like more quick. But if you're not paying attention to the clues that Adrien's giving, then you're not going to be paying attention to Adrien. So the real hit is Risk. Because in Risk, he realized how Marinette sees, like, how Marinette understands him like nobody else did. Like, nobody else understood Adrien besides Marinette. Like, nobody saw that he didn't want to be a model, that he didn't want to go on a trip. And Marinette was the only one that understood him. And a lot of people think that the risk was holding Marinette's hand, but that wasn't the risk. That was the consequence. A consequence can be a good action or a bad action, but it just depends on a choice. Risk can only affect your choice. It can't affect the consequences. Ladybug losing the Miraculous, it wasn't Risk's fault. Risk just affects the choices. Not Monarch. His name Monarch wasn't then. Shadow Moth even said it. Like, I don't know what choices you're going to make, but hopefully you take enough risk that it affects you. And he wanted to win and for them to take too many risks. So he could only affect your choices. It can't affect what happens. What happens is the fault of your action. Your choice. So the choice he made from Risk was to tell Marinette everything, to open up to Marinette, and that was the risk he took. If he didn't have risk, he most likely would have not told Marinette. But since he took that risk, he told Marinette and opened up. The consequence of that happened was a good consequence. He held Marinette's hand. That wasn't the risk. We sort of would have saw Adrien itching his neck if that was the risk he took, but that wasn't a risk. It was just to show his appreciation for Marinette being there for him. And he realized something that day, that Marinette is always there for him, and Marinette understands him like nobody else can. She gave him the courage to stand up for his father and to not be a model anymore. So I feel like that was really big. Before, he had to be Cat Noir in order for him to have freedom, as that's how he felt. He felt the only escape for life was him being Cat Noir. But now he don't need a mask to have that freedom. Now since Marinette helped him have the courage to speak up to his father, he can get to go out and do things that teenagers do. And it's all thanks to Marinette. He don't need a mask and he don't need a costume, which I feel like he's more grateful to Marinette because he has freedom now, him being Adrien, and he don't need to be Cat Noir in order to have freedom, which I feel like he should have learned in the first place. He don't need to be Cat Noir to have freedom. So I'm really happy that he does have the freedom now, and I'm also really thankful to Marinette. Like, Marinette, you went from being a stalker and just being somebody that's obsessed with Adrien to actually getting to know the whole, like, the person. And I feel like at first that Marinette was more in love with the image of Adrien, like who Adrien was showing himself, like Adrien Agreste, the model. But now she's beginning to be in love with Adrien, the person, the classmate. And that's what has to happen, you know, in order for her to be in love with the real Adrien. Next thing is that there's no real Adrien. There's not just a real Adrien. A lot of people feel like Cat Noir is the real side, the real person of Adrien, but that's not true. As we learned in Cur and Nico, that they both make up Adrien. That's what Plague says. You can't have Adrien without Cat Noir, and you can't have Cat Noir without Adrien. They both are yin-yang to each other. They need each other in order to be the full person. So Marinette, the love square, like, the love square being completed, because now it's complete, they're not just, like, not in love with the others. It may seem that way, but as I made another video about before, you can watch that video, and I'll explain it, but he's always going to have a piece of his heart that's going to love Ladybug. Just like when you move on from somebody, a piece of your heart's always going to love that person, but you have to move on. Like, he's not going to just stay with Ladybug. And if he were really, like, a lot of people try to say that he was just taking Marinette as a second option. If that was really the case, when Ladybug showed any affection towards him or even, like, confessed her love, he would have just moved right onto Ladybug, and that means his feelings for Marinette wouldn't matter. But since he just stuck to Marinette, then that's really proving that she's not just a second option, and he feels genuine love for her. And the reason he does is because Marinette's always there for him, always being there every problem he has, and he really appreciates that. He feels like she's the only one that understands him, and that's why she's very special to him. So now what happened is big. What happened in Aladdin? I went over it before, but now Adrien found out Marinette was in love with him. So this is big, but I was expecting more of a reaction from him, like him to be shocked or him to be surprised or him to be happy about it. But when he just found out, he seemed sad. Was it because she's not in love with him anymore and she was in love with him? But I was like expecting to like her to feel like Miraculously Dive was explaining it really well, so shout out to her channel. But she was explaining it well. Like, I was expecting more of a reaction from him. He didn't really react to it. He just, like, reacted like it was a normal thing. Like, yep, Marinette being in love with me, normal thing. Like, did he already, like, have a hunch that she was in love with him, but he was thinking in the back of his head? Like, what is it that he's just not surprised? Like, I just don't get it. Was that scene where he looked at Marinette weird when he was Cat Noir, was that supposed to be his surprise? I don't know. Maybe we're going to see more about it in Kwame's Choice transition. I really hope so, because that would just be, like, it wouldn't be good writing. It wouldn't be, just be kind of terrible, because, you know, I want to see a reaction more than just him being sad and giving Plague a Camembert saying, for Plague saying, oh, what can be loved once can be loved again, and then Adrien saying, yeah, I'm going to make Marinette fall back in love with me. A person did say, one person, that he's referring to Ladybug, but if that was really the case, he would be talking about Ladybug in a scene. He was talking about Marinette, and he basically friend-zoned Ladybug. I feel glad for Ladybug, but like I said, karma, it just creeps back up on you. So, yeah, now I feel like Adrienette's going to be the winner. Marisha is, you know, that's it. It's, like, dead. I feel really bad because Marisha is my second favorite ship besides Adrienette. So I really did like Marisha. Was good. I felt like they just get to be their true selves when they're, with Marinette, she don't have to be stuttering around him because she don't know it's Adrien. And then Cat Noir, he acts, like, normal around Marinette because he don't know that, you know, she's Ladybug. So I just felt like it was, like, perfect. But, you know, I feel like I do get it. Like, Cat Noir, he's a superhero. It would just be, like, he can't really understand where the love for him came from. He thinks that she just thinks of him as a fan. And like we learned before, the reason he didn't really fall in love with Marinette first was because he thought that Marinette was like just a fan of him that just liked fashion and wanted to be his friend since they're in the same class. He didn't really think of her as a love interest because he felt like she just loved the image. But soon he did learn that Marinette does love the real him and understands him like nobody else can, which is why now he's in love with her. But before, he just thought that Marinette liked the image of him, like the person that he presents himself to be, and doesn't really know the inner person. So I do feel like that's why he was in love with Ladybug, because Ladybug doesn't really know about that. Ladybug doesn't know that he's Adrien, so there's no her falling in love with the image, because he feels like he gets to be his true self and show like all his qualities and everything, and just like relax and have freedom when he's Cat Noir. So that's how I feel like. So I do feel like that's why now he fell in love with Marinette. And Marishat, I'm very sad it didn't happen, but I feel like this episode was trying to hint that Adrienette's going to happen. And we did get a lot of spoilers about Adrienette as well, so I'm very hopeful for it. So so that's it for today. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And also, I do want to say that Determination is coming out this Saturday in English. So I'm very excited for Determination to come out in English, because I do want to hear their voices in English. You know, I'm very excited to hear their voices in English for Determination, especially to hear Adrien saying he thinks he's in love with Marinette in English. Marinette saying she thinks she's in love with Cat Noir in English. We need to hear it, guys. So anyway, guys, that's it for today. Star out and officially lights out.